Welcome to Haunt Topic Radio, the podcast for haunters by haunters. These are our scary visions.
As 2024 comes to a close, we think about what we want to do in 2025. How was your 2024? Things you learned, lessons learned, things you'll change for 2025. Maybe you're a scare actor and you want to improve your character. Maybe you're a haunt owner and you want to get more people in your doors. Maybe you're going to focus on marketing next year. Maybe you're going to focus on getting better people or retaining your crew. Well, in this episode, we talk about all kinds of stuff. We had a special guest, George from Haunted Paradise and Paintball Paradise. And we all talk about what we did this season, what we're looking for next season, what we're going to change up. We talk queue lines, we talk safety, we talk scare actors, we talk selling alcohol in your haunt. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? You're sure to pick up a couple gold nuggets in this episode. Maybe a couple gifts that we left under the tree for you. Well, we want to wish you a happy 2025. We hope all your haunting dreams come true. Remember, if you're feeling all alone, you can come on over to our Facebook group, Haunters Toolbox on Facebook. Start a conversation over there. We love to help other haunters out, so don't be scared. Well, let's roll into it. Our post-season episode. After the holidays, after Christmas, rolling into New Year, we discuss all things haunt.
People on YouTube that go and visit the haunts, whether it's, Philip from the Haunted Attraction Network or Carpetbagger or Grim Life Collective, and there's several others that what's his name, Tampa J has been visiting a bunch. And with these haunts that have been opening during the Christmas season, of which there was a lot, and there's still a bunch opening up this coming weekend.
I keep listening to your news segments, and they're like,
yeah. 20 minutes later, and do you watch any haunt tours or any of the kind of stuff online, George?
Not particularly. Once in a while, I come across a few things that pique my curiosity, but we're such a unique facility so far north that it's hard to see what other people are doing and make it work here, especially when it's going down to -10 at the end of the evening or something or other Celsius.
Yeah. Whereabouts are you again?
Saskatchewan, northern Saskatchewan.
Oh yeah, I'm from Edmonton, so I know.
Okay, you know exactly.
I know exactly what it's like, which is why I want to win the lottery and go see some of these haunts that I see online and get the heck out of Snowy Town.
I've met an awful lot of them down at Transworld, and what they're seeing and doing and chatting, and that's kind of my favorite thing is sitting with somebody and chatting with them for a bit, picking their brains, because what they got is some of these guys are Disney type operations, and they'll just sit there and chat with you, and just the little tidbits that you can learn. It's like, oh, that's a thing. Okay. That's awesome. That's kind of what I usually do. Like with our paintball field, I go to the paintball extravaganza every year, so I get ideas because the Americans are already running when I'm still closed. And it lets me see the future, and that's kind of what Transworld does too.
Yeah. Transworld is just as much about marketing as networking as it is, the marketing and buying the stuff for your own haunt. A lot of people go there for that, but the networking is excellent. It's an important part of it. So feel bad that I missed out last year, but hopefully we're coming for 2025. So yeah,
that's right. I'm ready. Well, not really ready. Mentally, I'm ready.
Mentally, we're ready. We still got a lot of stuff to get done before, man, it's coming up quick. It's 8 weeks, right? 9 weeks. And it still takes us a while to get stuff together. I got to get my act together and get some stuff ordered because our badges seem to be selling fairly well as well. So
yeah, we will be there at Transworld at booth 1443 I believe we've had the same booth last 3 years, I believe. So we will be there. We will be there Wednesday, setting up for the show, and Thursday. I forget what time they open. 10.
I think so.
I
Or
think
do
that's
they
what they
open
did
9 to
last time.
VIPs and then open 10 to public? I'm not sure what the
Right.
hours are this year.
I think yeah. So they're going to carry over those same hours that they had last year.
I think so, but
Okay.
I have to check for sure.
Right. But it's always fun, it's even there at the show, getting, networking with the people around and the vendors, and seeing how other booths go up and how they take them down, and seeing all the different displays and zombies and body forms and masks people are strolling in as you're sitting at your booth. It's just a whole vibe going on there. So it's fun.
What kind of stuff do you like looking at there, George, when you're down at Transworld? What are some of your favorite areas?
Well, I've actually been taking in the Christmas displays as part of the service club that was doing Christmas show, but it gave me a lot of other ideas that I might try to incorporate to sort of the next level at the haunt. And I've seen so many of these different light shows that can be really, really cool, I think. And so that might be something, as long as I'm not the guy doing it. I'm bringing down about 3 staff.
Oh, good.
Because, let the creative people be creative. Right.
Yeah.
And then,
you
yeah, you
let's
get a
play
lot.
to their strengths. And if they build it, they own it.
Mhm.
So it's their own pet project. So they really want to do well. I've got the one fellow's been with me for years. He does a Pennywise outfit. It's each year he gets it. Somehow he makes it better. And I don't know how he does it, but they're like, yeah, Pennywise was better this year than last year. And it's just like, all right, not sure what he's doing because I never get a chance to get out and see what he does. I'm busy doing all the other things that, we're starting to hit 1,000 people a night for a little place like Prince Albert with 40,000 population. That's some pretty big numbers.
Yeah. And how many nights are you open?
This year we're only open 4 nights. Normally we'd go 6 the last 3 weekends of October, but Canadian Thanksgiving kind of messed that up. So we don't try to run on the Thanksgiving weekend. Next year, I've still not figured out, Halloween being on Friday. Do I just open on the Friday? It's tough when the kids are out on Halloween. They're going to be out in force on Friday. If it was on a Saturday night, no big deal. We'd be open. But right now, just trying to figure out, is it worthwhile trying to run? Because by the time you're done with the kids, 8, 9 o'clock, we close at 11. How much people are we going to get out? How tired are they going to be? Corn maze, it's a quarter mile from one side of the property to the other. So it's a pretty good walk. So if you already walked with the kiddies all over the place, I don't know if you want to go out and walk another 3, 4, or 5 miles.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's hard to say how that would go. If you were open, I'm sure you'd still have a good chunk of people.
So we're just trying to figure that out. That's one of those things that I wanted to chat with people at Transworld. We're still early enough to figure that out.
Yeah.
And other people are going, do we open on the Friday? Because normally I get a bunch of people that come back for the weekend to work for me here in the stores. And, they make a weekend of it, see their parents and their friends or whatever, and come out in the evening and scare the shit out of people.
Much fun.
So it's like, well, do we do this or do that? And it's kind of trying to figure that out. I see a lot of places are open on November 1st as well.
Yeah.
I've never run on November 1st, so kind of curious
But
to chat with
that's
people.
the Saturday night. That would be probably
our busier night Saturdays always.
Yeah. So, and because, people might be busy with their kids on the Friday night, taking their own kids out to do things, the Saturday might be even busier. Yeah. And it should definitely be worthwhile. And, it is the Dia de Los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. So, day to remember all of those dead people and celebrate those who have passed on. And what's more Halloweeny than that, right? Well, though it is sort of a Mexican tradition, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
People understand it, and we have lots of fun with it.
Well, maybe that's a good idea. I hadn't thought about that part yet.
So, Daryl, how was your haunt season? How was your haunt experience this year?
It was pretty good, though. I kind of hid away in the security room to try and avoid getting the haunt plague that everybody gets. We started off with a lot of actors, and we had quite a few that got sick. And not being the healthiest myself, I am just trying to stay the hell away from everyone. So I saw lots of great video, I missed the social aspect of working with all of the actors and the public. But I did not get the haunt plague this year and knock myself, on my butt like many of our actors did. And we just had our wrap up party on the 30th of November. I missed the awards ceremony because I was at my day job's Christmas party. Who schedules Christmas parties on the same night, right?
Damn day job.
Both of my jobs did. So I went to the day job Christmas party first. It was at a nice swanky place downtown Edmonton, and it was great, good food. But then I went to the haunt party for the party part of it, and it was a lot of fun. Got to see a lot of people. People were quite happy to see me, and less people were sick. So we get to chat about all sorts of things. It was a pretty busy season. We had with the three haunts that were running in the building. There was lots of people that came through. One of them was a farmhouse that and including a laser swamp house with an alligator that comes out, one of the I believe of the Gorgalor, one that comes out and attacks people. It went over really well, but my boss Ryan has a lot of actormatronics and puppets and stuff from VFX, the ones that attach to you, and lots of other things that we've had. One of the haunts was called the Puppet Factory, and there was lots of fun things in there. He's got a bunch of all props, the ones that are on the backpacks that you put on. And we had a room with 4 or 5 of those in. Other rooms that were in there, there was another giant clown, one of the 12-foot tall clown. We had a black room that was black light room that had neon splatters and somebody wearing a morph suit with neon splatters all over, and bunch of different characters in there that were putting these puppets together, or in some cases being possessed by the puppets. So it was a lot of fun. People really liked that one. It was a little shorter of the 3 haunts, but it subject matter kind of scared the crap out of the people. So, and then a new addition this year is, last year we had a haunt called the Convent that started inside, and you walk through the interior of a sort of a convent down a bunch of hallways and stuff. Well, an expansion to that included basically a large cathedral that was our lineup, and at any one time you could probably have 250 people in line, maybe more, inside this theater, cathedral, which I had some fun music with it. We had kind of stereo music, so there was some of the nuns and the friars were chanting off in the distance, and every now and then you'd have the sound of a bat fly from one side of the place to the other. So it was lots of fun, but most of it I got to see on video cameras because
you're behind the scenes.
I'm behind the scenes, yeah, trying to keep myself healthy and keep everybody else safe. So, and as usual, there's always the people that are a-holes and attack the actors or have had a little bit too much to drink, and you see them and they're trying to play with the props or do stuff, and cut down on that right away. We radio the rest of our team and say, this person is so and so doing this. Problem is on the cameras, on the video cameras, we've got like infrared video or IR video cameras, and everything shows up in black and white and gray, but the customers might be wearing a red jacket or a black jacket and a red shirt, but sometimes those show up as the same color of light gray on the video monitors, and you're like, so you have to get good at describing what people are wearing without using colors. You can't even tell hair color because some people dye their hair and it might look black or it might look blonde on the monitor, but it could be green or something else. Or the people that have the extensions and stuff are kind of funny too, because you see this much one color, and then you see this a whole other color.
Yeah.
And then you go out and see them in real life, and it's all blonde or something, but two totally different ways that it looks on the cameras. So
I think Scarrett badges are one of the smartest things I've seen in the industry in a really long time. Scarrett badges are basically either pins or embroidered patches, kind of like merit badges, as they are, somewhat named after, from Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts and Brownies, and where after you've accomplished something, you can wear the brag tag of the embroidered patch. Some haunts put them on jackets, some put them on t-shirts, some put them on, with the pins, I've seen them put them on lanyards. But the neat thing about them is they are very specific in what they are rewarding. And they're haunt-based images that reflect what's being rewarded. It's retention, it is bringing people back, and it's actually giving your haunters, your haunt performers, the ability to share that they are haunt performers. And, oh really, you're a scare actor. Where do you do that? And then they will insert the name of your haunt right there. So it's also marketing. I've always been a big fan of Scarrett badges. I think they're great. So check them out, scarrettbadges.com. No, that is not a paid advertisement. That is just my recommendation. I think it's really cool.
ScottSwenson.com.
So for context, people that may just be tuning in for the first time, tell us a little about your haunt. Well, not your haunt, but the haunt that you work at.
Yeah. I am one of the managers at Dedmonton Haunted House here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Just a couple of years ago, moved into a brand new place that used to be where they'd print newspapers for one of the newspapers, local newspapers. It's about 44,000 square feet altogether, and inside we have 3 different haunts currently. For the last 2 years. One is got the facade of a 2-story Victorian house, Victorian farmhouse, and a barn. And in that, we've got, inside of the barn, we've got a backyard, we've got a garage with an old truck in it, plus multiple rooms within the house. Don't have very many animatronics at all, but we've got a good set of static figures and actors. The other haunt that we have has been based on a church or religious theme for the past couple of years. It starts off inside the building and ends up outside, where you end up going through a forest and sort of a New Orleans style cemetery. And then the last area we have is up on the 3rd floor, and it is has been a couple of different things. It's a little smaller haunt, but or a little smaller attraction, but we wind people in and out. And like I said, this year the theme on that one was the Puppet Factory. One of the things that my boss Ryan Kozar, who's the owner of the haunt, does is changes probably 30 to 50% of each of the haunts every year, and comes up with a different theme. So we may have the same props in a different location, but there's also lots of props that, if he used it last year, he's not going to use it this year, just to keep the excitement level and the I don't know what's coming next level up there for all of the guests. So
You guys
this
doing
year we were open 27 nights.
And is it last week you were open like so many nights in a row?
Yeah, what we do is we call it Hell Week. This year I think there was 13 nights in a row, just basically based on when things were. Usually that whole last week up until Halloween, with the exception of the Monday prior to that, but just kind of the way it fell, it was the week prior to that the Monday we were off, and then we were open for 13 nights in a row. And then after Halloween, usually the following weekend, we do 2 or 3 nights of lights out, where the customers get a glow stick for their group. They get 1 glow stick for a group. So it's a little slower going through, but it's a totally different feel. So
Yeah. And how many actors crew members are there? Do you know?
We started off with about 135 due to letting some people go and some attrition, some that couldn't make it and some that got injured throughout the year. We finished off with about 85 to 90 actors. We needed about 80 a night. And with the actors, we do a bunch of training prior to that. And we do tell them this is the toughest job you will ever love. Some just don't realize how tough it is, especially, when you open 4 nights a week. It's hard on the body, especially if you're a student or you have that day job, right?
So hire about 25% more than what you need, just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah.
So it was, and that doesn't include all of the other staff because we've got what we call our fright attendants, which is where I came up with the idea for the fright attendant badges. And those are all of the customer support staff, including all of the people that work. We've got an indoor and an outdoor bar, an alcoholic bar, plus concession and food cart, or food truck that, is all manned. Your security, our internal security people that just kind of keep an eye on everything. We've also got a whole bunch of roving actors that just kind of keep all of the crowds as they come in. There's a photo op area and all of the haunts are down one direction. And our roaming characters just have such a great time keeping the crowd entertained. So
sounds like a good setup.
It is. Yeah, I think it is. I would love to be able to go out and visit more haunts to go, oh, hey, I could steal that idea from there. And maybe we could do something a little different with, the crowds or just the entertainment pre-show to get things set up. Because you've got, the metal fencing that people got to wind their way through. And it, even with a time ticketing into the area, because we've got food and concession and drink, people don't necessarily make it into each specific haunt at a time. And, until they've had food, they'll get their tickets, let them in at 7:30 or 8 o'clock. And they might go to one of the haunts right away, and then they'll go eat and drink and it's getting close to the end of the night, and it's like, you need to go and visit the haunts, and they'll, maybe our booze is too cheap or something, and they'll just sit there and drink and not go to the haunts until they absolutely have to. So
well, that's what you want. You want them spending money.
You do, but also I want to get out of there at a normal time instead of like,
that's true.
If we close at 11, I don't want to be sticking around until 1 o'clock because, we're going to let them into the haunts that they drank until 10:55, people.
Yeah. Do you know what causes haunted attractions to shut down before they even get started? The top 3 roadblocks are lack of funding, lack of leadership, lack of resources. As a member of the Haunters Toolbox, you get instant access to the tools you need to start and grow your own haunted attraction business. To get started, become a member at haunterstoolbox.com. Well, I do not participate in the Dead Factory anymore, but I was out there a couple times. I got to scare act one night. I got to hang around the crowd a little bit. Still kind of checking on my brother and see how he's doing. Apparently they did really good this year.
Good.
Keeps getting bigger every year. And he tries to maintain the whole space between groups, even though no matter how many people are out there, he wants to maintain that space so they don't get bunched up, which it's still small enough to do that, but it's starting to get to the point where people are waiting 2 hours, but they're not in a queue line. They've taken it and created a midway out there. So there's food trucks, bonfires, movie screens, DJ, queue line actors. So there's always something going on. But I can see how it may become an issue as it continues to grow, because they may have to cut that minute between groups down to 15 seconds, or
yeah, we went down to 45 seconds.
45 seconds. Yeah, I think you might have been doing a minute and a half. So between groups. And it was nice to do scare acting because I hadn't scare acted in about 5 years. So that was nice to kind of
Mm-hmm.
get back into that. And I didn't have to worry about the management side of it. So that was kind of weird going out there and like, I'm not touching anything. I'm not looking over there. I'm not doing it. So I
Yeah.
just went to my
I didn't see
spot.
it. Didn't see it. Didn't see it.
Went to my spot and played and had fun and stayed the whole night. It was a good time. So, George, tell us a little bit about your haunt, where you're located at and what you have going on.
Sure. That's we were Paintball Paradise, Prince Albert. So now we've rebranded to Haunted Paradise, keeping the same type of name and things, but the rebranding's been a very successful thing. So because it's become now 70% of our business, just those 2 or 3 weekends in October. But we're getting prepared for it for a year. It's become a very big part of us. We've got, like I said, on a busy night, we'll hit 1,000 people coming through. Parking's a major issue, as always. When you're putting that many people through, we got a 2-acre parking lot that's grass. On Friday nights, we just run in the evenings. Saturdays, we run during the day and into the evenings. We used to run on Sundays in the afternoon only, and we canceled that, which has been a good thing. And the crowd, I used to get less than 100 on each of the days in the afternoon. And on these Saturdays, we got 250 out in the afternoon. So the numbers have gone up, and it was busier for everybody. When there's only 100 people, like you got a quarter mile between stuff. It gets pretty slow with only 100 people in 4
Yeah,
hours.
I can imagine. Yeah.
So trying to keep the staff not from being completely bored out of their minds. So this was nice. It was just steady all the time. We've added vendors in. So we've got a vendor that sells a bunch of knickknacks and things, and that's been well received. They've been happy. Trying to find somebody that could do tarot card readings or something or other. It'd be kind of nice. I had one last year. She got pregnant this year, so she was unavailable with a new one, which is exciting. And we got shooting games. The paintball field, we got to have paintball shooting games, so we've got those. We got a haunted barn now, or haunted church we call it. It's the old barn. Got some pews from the recycle store and stuff. Made that its own little thing, and then at the very far side of the property is the haunted house the other way, and you kind of got to walk through the staging area, which is what I call the central area with the food and the drinks and all that type of stuff, and lots of picnic tables and fire barrels. You can rent some picnic sites or campfire sites. You get a picnic table and a fire barrel, and then we've got a few more private areas that people can rent. And then we have our pumpkin barn because we grow our own pumpkins. We got a ½ acre of pumpkins, so we grow 3,000 pumpkins a year. So the pumpkin barn looks great. People go in there, take pictures and stuff. It's all kind of pictures, farm stuff. Good old tractors, old plows, that type of stuff around. Got the corn maze, which is 3.5 acres. And that's the big thing that people like going out and getting scared in. But the haunted house is anything that scares them seems to be popular.
Yeah.
We got a small little maze for the kids in the afternoon, so that it's different. So we don't let the adults into there because they have a tendency to destroy things when they're being chased through corn. So there's no dead ends in the corn maze. There's always 2 exit options. Otherwise, they make them themselves. So the maze I used to write things in the maze. Now I don't. I make it into squares and circles and stuff that people can get out and escape. And
That's learned from experience.
yeah. Otherwise, when you're scaring people, corn isn't much of a barrier.
No.
But
No.
running into a fence post that's treated with the green treatment blends perfectly in with the corn. So those do stuck. So you have to be a little careful of that too, because they
Well,
have
it's
no
like
idea.
the rows of corn that we have in our cornfield inside the haunt. Inside, fake corn. I've been trying to tell people that we need to put steel rebar inside it so that it doesn't get destroyed by those people that like to do things like that, right?
Yeah.
It's probably not good and it's probably not going to happen, but I think
No.
it would be funny if somebody ran into some rebar instead of corn and just flattened themselves out instead of the rebar. But you'd probably get in trouble for it.
Yeah, I think you'd probably get into trouble with that. We've got these inflatable bunkers around for paintball that are white, and we write things on them, like the directions, and we've got little pucks that give off LED lights. So they're lit up so people can see kind of around. We don't allow any flashlights or lights in the corn maze because we're only 5 miles outside the city. So we get a lot of city bounce if it's cloudy. If it's not cloudy, if the moon's out, it's pretty bright anyway. So the actors have to work pretty hard if we allow flashlights or anything. People are like, that's crazy. Going, yeah, there's enough light out there. And they would blind my actors and then they lose their night vision for 2 or 3 minutes. And that's way too long. It's dangerous too. So when we banned them, everybody seemed to like that a lot better because it's pretty dark. So they wander around and come back warm. We sell a lot of hot chocolate, sell a lot of fries and gravy and protein. Actually, I had to buy another deep fryer. That's our most popular item is the fries. We just can't keep up.
Well, they're warm, right?
Yeah, they're warm. The gravy goes
Carry
on
'em
top.
around.
My staff has got it timed. We hand out the little beepers to people, and they beep them, and they come up just as they're walking up. They dump the gravy on top of the poutine or
Oh,
the
right on.
fries, so they get a nice hot fries right there. Yeah, it goes over well. The hot chocolate, my wife can barely keep up with the hot chocolate. You need one of those machines with 3 heads. One will plug up inevitably. You got to try to clean it somehow, but that shuts down the whole other thing. So as long as you can keep a bunch of them running, even though they're all the same, it seems to work. And we sell a ton of hot chocolate, popcorn. It's amazing to see the number of people because Prince Albert's such a small town. You know, you come out, if you don't know anybody, you'll know somebody there. And everybody
Yeah.
gets chatting and seeing, and you have a couple hundred people in the staging area. Kids go out, the adults stay there and have a drink, sit around the fire, warm up, go do some shooting games, that type of stuff. So it's been years in the making coming up with stuff. I like hearing about different things. It was like the campfire sites, that was somebody else's idea. He said he rented 160 of these things out. And it's like,
I like
wow.
that idea.
It's simple. I already had the picnic tables, got a bunch of barrels in half that I got for oil change place. They were happy to get rid of the barrels, cut some holes in them, and now we got the campfire sites we rent out. Are very popular.
Do you sell s'mores as well?
We haven't yet, but
Add that to your list because they sell well, right? And you just get you go to the dollar store and pick up some of those the sticks, just some of the longer ones, and you give them a Ziploc baggie with a piece of chocolate and a couple of marshmallows and a couple of graham crackers, and you sell a s'more kit for 2 people, and they'll sit around the fire and it's another
it's on my
it's
list.
another
It just
warm
never
thing,
seems
so.
to be one of those things that I get to. Every year my list is much longer of my ideas and time and effort.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that'll be for
all
next
about
year.
the ideas.
We can all agree to that.
This year coming up, we want to add in our Phantom Lake Ghost Train. There's a community just to the south of us, St. Louis, and there's a Phantom Lake Ghost Train that's been there since a kid. I remember going down there and you watch the lights on the tracks. There's no tracks, but there's lights on the tracks, and there's a big ghost story about how the conductor lost his head. He's looking for it, that type of stuff. People have tried to debunk it, but it still happens. So we're going to maybe make that ourselves. And there's a local company called Phantom Light Vodka that wants to be a partner with us. So it might have a
Nice.
good fit, but we've never done alcohol at the Haunt. And this year we did a punk music festival and we set up a bar area, but we didn't set it up for the Haunt. And I think next year we might try that. I'm not sure. People are sneaking it in anyway.
It's a double-edged sword. Yeah.
When we see all the empty cans and bottles and stuff the next day, go pick them all up that people are throwing in the bush all over the place and stuff. Corn maze, and we'll clean it up anyways. Like, should we be selling this? Maybe we reduce some of that. Maybe it'll cause other problems. I'm not sure. Yeah, like you said, double-edged sword.
Both. It will reduce some, but it'll cause other problems. People are still gonna free game. They're still gonna drink at home. They're still gonna sneak stuff in. And as people get drunker, if you're selling it there, you have to start to worry about your corn maze, and you have to start, worry about the
Safety of your act.
the safety of your actors, the welfare of the kids there, because it's a mixed. You have kids there. There's a bunch of stuff that you need to worry about. That's one of the reasons that we have hired security, is because because we sell alcohol, we need to have so many security guards per customer, right? Or so many customers per security guard, or whatever it is. So that ends up being another expense. If we weren't selling alcohol, I'm not sure we would need those security guards, but
we still
at the
have
same
our
point-
security anyway.
Yeah,
We've
but
got
you
4
may
security
need
guards.
more. That's the thing, is you may need more because of having the alcohol on-prem, right?
This podcast episode sponsored by Scarlet Badges.
we always were looking for ideas to get those actors to take it to the next level. I really want to do something that they can use more than just a meal, or they can use more than just a that a boy, that a girl. They love this stuff, but it's not really promoting a haunter. And then I sit down, Scarab Badges comes out. That's when I realized this is amazing, because not only is it giving them an attaboy, but it's also promoting them all year round. And to promote somebody, to give somebody accolades all year round and have them be able to wear it on their shoulder with pride means a lot. This right here says this is who nailed it on this day in this year for the rest of their life, for the rest of their haunting life. And that's what I really love about this product, is you're able to give haunting to somebody an attaboy 365 days a year. And that's, so hats off to you guys. I think this is a great product, and I wish you the best of luck because it's awesome.
Get your Scarab Badges at scarabadges.com.
And
The one nice
definitely-
thing, since the end of COVID, the bar scene in Prince Albert is gone, so we don't get the drunk showing up at 10 o'clock. It just doesn't happen anymore, which has been really nice. They used to come in, and of course, it closed at 11. And the one thing I did learn, I wish I learned this years ago, is we set off a bear banger at 7 o'clock when we start. We set one off at 8 o'clock when it gets to be more scary. Then at 11 o'clock, we set another one off. We used to have to almost lock arms and chase everybody out of the corn maze. Now, when we set off the bear banger at 11, they just all leave.
Mm-mm.
It was just absolutely amazing. It's like there was no problem at all. Now, of course, we used to run from 9 to 11. Now we run from 8 to 11. I think maybe they're tired by that time. They're leaving already anyway.
Yeah.
So a few changes have made things a lot better. But that bear banger thing was just, it's like, how do we let people know? And I'm like, well, I got bear bangers here. We can use those.
So what exactly is a bear banger?
Well, it's a little German pistol. I think I actually ordered about at Edmonton, and it launches a little flare, and it goes up about 100, 150 feet. Like, and then it explodes. That's meant to scare away a bear. Now, the nice thing about it is at 7 o'clock, we set that off. That scares any bears that are in the corn maze away. Not that we've ever had a whole lot of bears, but that was the point of it. It's like, hey, we set that off, should scare anything that's out there, deer, whatever. And they're loud. You can hear it all through the entire corn maze. There's no problem. And quarter mile away, you can hear it, no problem. I suspect the neighbors can hear them. So they're loud. And yeah, they set those off. I got one guy that's in charge of the bear banger, and we have an extra backup just in case. And they don't cost very much. They use a little 22 starter capsule things to launch it. That's the start. You just put in a little primer thing that plugs in there, and the other part goes in the end of the gun, and off it goes. Yeah, it is. And when I hear I can hear the whiz of it going off wherever it is. It's maybe not very loud, and you just see everybody freak out when that goes off in the staging area, which is a few hundred meters away from where it got set off, and people just jump, but they know what it means. And it's like, how do we know when it's going to start? You'll know. How do we know?
Yeah.
You'll know. And all of a sudden, boom, they all jump. Everybody laughs. Guess that's the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
fun.
Started off
I love
right.
the bear banger for outdoor stuff. I wish I'd started it sooner. Yeah, we don't have to chase anybody out or anything. So that was a wonderful addition.
They know it's time to start, and they know it's time to go.
And they do. So
Good.
It's been really good.
You were talking about the parking situation. I know some people have tried, I don't know if that would work with your attraction, but time ticketing. So the parking's kind of spaced out a little bit. You ever thought about that?
We've never been busy enough that we've had to worry about that. The one nice thing is if my parking ran out, I have another 2-acre area. It's got a bunch of trees in it, so I've been trying to avoid that area. It was going to make it into an RV park at some time in the future. So that would be our overflow. So we get another 2 acres. We can double the price of the
There
parking
you
lot
go.
really easily. Basically, what I did is I walked in the PV Mart, and they had these little driveway markers, and they were on sale for about $6 each. So I bought all of them that they had, and they kind of flash red lights, and they're solar lit. And if the solar thing runs out, they're still reflectors. So I just put those on the first row of trees by the parking lot, and everybody can see the boundaries of the parking lot. I need 4 guys for parking. And we did it in and an out too. We used to try to go everybody in and out on the same one driveway, but I couldn't make it wider because we have a natural gas line that runs through there, a main one. So we just moved the driveway. The first year was kind of a pain. Everybody wanted to go back out the way they were used to. But once they figured it out, and we put a great big sign on the hill and wrote with reflective tape exit on it.
Yeah.
The sign was supposed to be reflective, and the guy got a new tape of reflective stuff, and it definitely was not reflective. But that tape on there, it's a 4x4 sign. We put it at the top. If you shine a light on it, just lights right. It's exit with an arrow, and everybody used that exit pretty good. And now we don't even. So, but we had to. It's up a hill, so we had to put gravel down the hill because yeah, the first year it was like, geez, if it snows, we're gonna have some problems getting up that hill. And
Yeah.
yeah, put down the gravel, and the next weekend it snowed. So the gravel was really good to get up the hill, and now we've got a pretty good layout. When we're getting busy, it you fill up the parking lot slowly, but so long as you're like a parking Nazi on them, they're pretty good because then you just fill in the holes that people when they leave,
Yeah.
right? So you
Yeah.
send them down there, so you don't have to actually do that much work. But off the start, it's a lot of work because everybody wants to park wherever they think they can park. It's like, no, if you park crooked, you lose 2 spots.
Mhm.
You need to start straight and one behind the other, going the same direction. And once it's in place and it's good, but man, parking can be, I had the guys the first night a couple of years ago, they parked 3 cars in a row. Well, people were parked themselves and they blocked in 10 cars. And when those
Oh.
10
Done that.
people come to go, and we did get a few Austin Powers out of there, and eventually we got people, and they did seem to appreciate the owner was out there trying to deal with this. It's like, guys, you can't let people park because they're stupid. And these folks were really good. And now we got a backup plan if something like that happens, but it won't ever happen because the guys are on top of it. But what a pain that, for an hour I had to screw around with getting people out and their vehicles are trapped. There's 4 guys in parking. How does that happen?
Yeah. Do you still run paintball then through like in the?
No, we
No?
shut down paintball at the end of September now. It
Okay.
just got really
But you
confusing.
still run it earlier in the year, right?
Yeah.
Do you
yeah.
use the same parking areas and stuff, or?
No, the paintball's not nearly as busy. The area
Yeah,
that I
that
put
makes
my
sense.
campfire sites in is where I park people for the paintball. They can park
Okay.
up there if they have a bus or something or other, but most people just come in cars. And with kids, we do lots of birthday parties. They're dropping kids off and leaving, so I don't need a huge park here. Most of the parents come in, they realize we run a different paintball in most places because we actually have lots of staff and it's individual parties. We don't have walk-on paintball. So if you're
Okay.
not there with a party, you're not playing paintball. And so when they realize that it's that organized, it's not like what's on TV or movies. It's safe. There's 2 refs per group. They don't. No, we leave. We'll come back in 2.5 hours or whatever.
And then for Halloween, your Halloween events, do they normally stay with their kids, or do you find that a lot of people that just drop their kids off and they come back 2 hours later?
There's kind of a mix. Since we started the campfire sites, we definitely have more parents. Like you don't have to pay to get in if you're just in the staging area. So a lot of times mom will stay there and the kids will go out. They got wristbands on. The staff just check the wristbands when they're going out. And so they really appreciate that. So instead of sitting in the car reading a book, they are interacting with people.
They're at the
having a poutine,
campfire and
buying hot chocolate and giving the kids extra money to go shoot some paintballs or buy some pumpkins and stuff they didn't even know we had. So
Yeah.
that's been pretty good. People like, we don't have to pay to get in. No, not right here. If you want to go out to the attractions, yeah. But if you want to just go buy some pumpkins, you can just walk in, get some pumpkins, walk out with them.
or
So-
sit and have a
Yeah.
hot chocolate and
Yeah.
and wait for your kids to do the stuff that you don't necessarily want to do. So
I think the more you incorporate families, the better.
yeah.
We had some where little spots set up right by the exit line. So they were watching people get chased with a chainsaw. They were just sitting there, enjoying their food truck and waiting for their kids and watching the queue line and so all that was free. You didn't have to, as long as you didn't want to go inside, you could sit there all you want. So I think it's a good thing because parents will be more likely to come back again and let their kid play and go to the haunt. They'll sit there. And if you
Mhm.
serve alcohol, grab a beer and hang out, have dinner, chill by the campfire, get a s'mores. A night, a still family night. You don't have to go to the attraction if you don't want to.
Hmm.
I think that's a good idea in the way around.
Seems to fit for us anyway.
Yeah.
I am sure glad I got the little beepers for the kitchen though. Just got rid of so much issue that you get out with a bullhorn, they're yelling at people, nobody can hear. 200 people's enough that
Mhm.
background noise is louder than a bullhorn. If you do overpower that noise, it's gonna be really loud. Then beep them, they walk up, they said, dump the gravy right on the fries because that's what most of them are ordering, or poutine.
Hmm.
It's a little bit of a show too. I love the gals that came up with that. I watched them do that a couple of times. It's such a good
And sometimes it's those little things that your staff brings to you that just make that extra, it gives them the confidence that you're accepting what they're doing. They're interacting with the customers all the time, so they might come up and see something that is beneficial. And then from the customer point of view, when they see that they're not having soggy fries, that they're pouring the gravy on them just as their beeper goes off, they go up and they're pouring that on there. Just, they know that it's fresh, and it just gives that extra, they actually care, right? And if they care at this time of year, maybe they'll care at other times of year, and it just breeds that the desire to come back at different times of the year, not just this part of the season.
So
No.
do you guys use a season pass at all, or?
No, we don't.
We never did either.
Yeah.
I've noticed that
some haunts
there's people have asked about it. I didn't realize how many the kids come back every single night. Some families.
If
They
people
bring
are
different
asking
they
about it,
bring different friends each time.
Yeah.
But I've never thought about a season pass, and I'm like, well, they've been paying the 20 or 25 bucks each weekend. It gets more expensive with time. First weekend's 20 bucks a person, 22 bucks. That definitely leveled out our numbers. That each
Mhm.
weekend was more similar. Still,
Yeah.
the last one's busier, but it was, when we first started it was like 10, and then 25%, and then like 65% last weekend. Now it's more like 30, 30, 40. It's really helped balance things out a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely see that working that way. The weekend closest to Halloween is more expensive for us. So
I know Haun's starting to do that. We never did that at the Dead Fact, so that's and
It
it'd be
worked
interesting.
wonderful for us.
It'd be interesting to include that and see how that would work, because it
We
might,
used-
like you said, it evens up. People want to get there early on the slow weekends, and then maybe die down a little bit toward the end of October. So
And just $2 a night, $5 a night is enough to move people earlier. Like the Boy
Yep.
Scouts come on the cheaper nights, but there's like 50 or 60 of them. So they love coming out and saving a few dollars, especially when they have multiple kids coming, I guess.
you do group
Yeah.
rates too?
Not
for
really.
groups? Yep.
If they get up to 20 people, then we give one the organizer or something.
Yeah.
But generally, I haven't. It's one of those things is if you start too low in your prices,
Mhm.
you can't increase them, and we ran into that a little bit. But the first thing I realized is one night before my insurance company caught on, I'd sent them a thing saying, hey, I want to get them to sign a waiver, and then we can touch the people when they wear a glow rope around their neck. And we know those people signed a waiver and said that we can touch them, but we only can touch them. You can grab them by the arm, grab them by the leg, or two people can grab them, carry them off in the corn maze. And I realized at that point we were charging $10 a night, and we charged them an extra $10 for the waiver or ultimate scary thing. We did it one weekend 6-7 years ago. People still remember that. They had no problem dropping 20 bucks, double the price, but they didn't. And most people, if they didn't take it up front, they came back and wanted the upgrade. The problem was some people, it's too scary for us, and they'd hand somebody else their glow rope without them signing a waiver.
Mm.
Oh.
It's like, okay, I'm going to get out of this. Well, here, I'll put it on. And most people were pretty good, but the insurance company realized that pretty quick and said, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we ran them. We ran that
but we
problem with
did
our
realize
insurance.
that the scary part we used to get a lull from about 7:30 till 8:30 where nobody was coming through because they were waiting for 9 o'clock and the scary things. And I'm like, we're kind of wasting an hour here. And so at 8 o'clock, we now do the scary, and it's all adult price. If you're a kid, you pay the adult price to get in. Nobody balks
Okay.
at the 20 bucks. And they're like, oh, now if you wanted to come in earlier and you pay less, you could for a kid. But at 8 o'clock, we throw you out. Those wristbands are no good. Now you could get around for a while, but eventually you're going to run into somebody's going to check your wristband.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they can upgrade the wristband and pay the extra 10 bucks, 12 bucks, whatever it is to upgrade it to the all night pass. But we basically got everybody convinced to just buy the all night passes for the most part. We do get some that come in there for that, but yeah, so we got rid of our lull. So we're just kind of busy all the way up to 10 o'clock. After 10, it gets kind of slow then, which is fine, boss. It's time to start winding it down.
Yeah. And so how much of your haunt are in buildings? Is it all within buildings except for the corn maze, mind you? Or is everything else outside? Like, do you have...
That's pretty much all outside. The old barn where the haunted church is, that's indoors.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's not a very big old barn. It's, I don't know, 35 feet long by 20 feet wide.
Okay.
So that's the indoor part of that haunt. The haunted house doesn't have a roof on it. We just built walls. I got a really good deal on bunch of Engate liners from Ford. They just gave them to me to actually deliver them because they were sprayed on box liners and they kept sending these damn things, but they were too nice to throw away. So they kept them until they built a new Ford place. They wanted to get rid of them. So we built the house out of them. So it's all black, almost indestructible.
And cheap.
And,
Right on.
and the price was, you can't go wrong when they deliver them to me.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
funny.
we built the haunted house out of that. It's basically 2x4s and fence posts. So that's indoors. And then we have a boneyard that they get chased through at the end, which was a bunch of mannequins and some deer skeletons and things we found that died on the property. We own 3/4 sections here. So my
Mannequins,
Scottish
deer
side
heads.
is very strong. I will use whatever we can. So yeah, these mannequins were a deal at the mall, and stick a deer skeleton on it or deer antlers and weird things. And a couple of guys are really creative. And when we go to the Transworld show and we show people these things, they usually freak out because they're real. They're not fake like everything in Transworld is. It's the same thing as my jar of fingers, if you guys remember or not, but that's what's left of my hand.
Oh,
So I have my jar of fingers left on the counter, and when the kids come through, they grab them. They're like, "What is that? Carrots, pickles?" It's in a mason jar, and we're like, "No, no." Mom says, "Look again." Well, it looks like fingers. And you're like, "Whose fingers?" And then I hold up my hand, and they don't notice the first time. I know why magicians can fool people, because when you don't notice that as a difference when you first see it, your eyes see there's fingers. They have to look Mom says, "Look again," and then they're like, they put that jar down the most carefully I've ever seen put anything down in their lives. I got to get a video of that sometime.
yeah.
But it's gotten kind of old, so but people still, "Hey, you got your jar of fingers? Or you got the jar?" Because they don't want to give it away what it is and get some new kids. So you gotta have some fun with that, right? Get a little demented,
yeah.
but people don't ever forget when they show them the jar of fingers.
Yeah, that's right. I remember just being a kid trick or treating. It still scars me to this day. Just being as young as I was, but it wasn't anything gory like that, or anybody missing any body parts. But it was guy had his garage done, maybe some red lights in there. And he was in a coffin as a Dracula every year, and I could never make my way up to the casket. And then finally one year I made my way up to the casket, and he jumps out of it, sits up, and does his Dracula bit, and I run away screaming. But it's still ingrained in my brain to this day. It probably made me partially who I am just by Halloween and being scared around the season and overcoming some of that, and then starting to get into mask making. And so it just takes that one little spark for that one person to start to say what kind of effect we're having on other people and kids and families, and what kind of, different, there was one kid that came through my home haunt every year, and he actually applied, and he was one of my best scare actors for about 3 years out there. He's like, "Yeah, I remember you when you set up in your garage haunt." I was like, "Oh, that was you? Because you brought your girlfriend." "Yeah, we were asking this and that." And he came out and became a scare actor, and he was one of the best ones I had. So yeah, you never know.
Those guys still working for me 12 years later.
Yeah.
He was doing a better job scaring than my actors were. And one of my lead actors came in and says, "Hey, you should give these guys a job. They're scaring people, but they're following the rules." And so, yeah, he's still there. Comes out every year.
How many actors do you have?
Well, we try to have about 20 to 25 out thing. This year, I had to hire more than what I thought, and we fired a whole pile the first night.
Night.
They know how to write a good resume, know how to do a good interview, but I wish they teach them how to work.
Well, acting is a hard job, and you got to do it for the love of doing it. We had some people that, "Well, how come you auditioned today?" "I just need a job." You're not going to be a great actor for us. Right? And we
the
had
best ones
some
seem to
that,
be the referrals, right? Nobody's going to bring out a friend that's useless, because then they have to work twice as hard themselves to cover for their useless friend. So they don't bring useless friends out. And so I like the referrals from other actors. Like, these people will help. Awesome. That's who I need. Somebody that knows these people and knows they're not tricking me in an interview.
and they know what the job entails, and they can tell whether their friends are going to be good or bad at it. So yeah, definitely the referrals.
And they can hold each other accountable, and one person can pick the other person up, and they have one car, and nobody's left out. And I got my best people from that. One guy brought in like five brothers, sister, cousins. I'm like, All right, we'll try you out. Come on.
We're starting to have family dynasties in our haunt because there's an actor and his son from last year, and now his wife, his other son and daughter are doing different roles, some acting, some support roles within the haunt. Husband and wives, boyfriends and girlfriends, and then they bring in someone else in the family, right? Sister or brother or whatever. And it's good. But it's like, oh, I had to get my wife working for us as well, just because, well, now she can go see the parties, but at this, go to the parties and do all that sort of stuff. But, come home and we go to work together, and she does different stuff. I do the management side of stuff, and she's doing a support role of a flight attendant, as we call them. And we get to go to the same job, but we're not in each other's face all the time, but we can still talk about that work. Did you see that guy in the blue jacket? Like, wasn't he a dick?
Yeah, right.
But it's kind of neat because you can still talk about your work, but you're not working closely with them, and you spend 24 hours a day with a person, and they sometimes get a little on edge, but at least my wife and I can both talk about what we've seen at the haunt and the other people at the haunt without being up in each other's business for 24 hours a day.
Right. Still share the experience together.
Yeah.
Guys, I need to go for a quick tea break. I'll be back in a second.
Sure.
So what are you going to be doing for the haunt next year at all, or what kind of plans does Scotland have?
I'm not sure what he's got planned this year. This year they focused on, he turned a lot of dead space that was being taken up by an actor room, which he shifted the actor room different spot. We had this open bay area that I had set up tables and had some storage stuff in it. He's revamped that, brought the scare actor room this way, and then the old scare actor room was completely turned into something else. So he probably, I don't know how many square feet that he opened up, but it was enough for a chain link maze that you walk through, big open area, and he had a insane asylum facade set up. So this was probably 50 feet long or so, and he had a insane asylum facade. That's where I was playing at. It had a shock room with a shock wand on a metal grate.
Oh yeah.
So I was
Sparks.
in there. Sparks. I was in there playing with that. There was another actor in there that he was kind of mainly doing that, but I would kind of go in there and play a little bit. So I played in the spark room. Then I got to play in the chain link fence room. It was strobed out. So of course it's that strobe out effect, and the chain link, you can't really see what the hell's going on because your eyes are like all messed up. So after a while, to me, I get used to strobe lights when I'm in there. They don't really affect me after a while. I know some people have serious issues with them, and some customers have issues with strobe light. But so I got to play in that. I was I was going to start off to be a doctor, but then the role I was kind of in, I figured I should be an insane person. So I kind of turned myself into an insane person and had a gown on and was dragging an aluminum pole behind me on concrete. It was kind of making a lot of noise with it and kind of following through the chain link fence. He also turned the swamp room. We had the green laser swamp that was about waist high. It was basically a swamp. Turned that into a cemetery. So he ripped a bunch of that out, built a 2-story cathedral, church, brought the laser lights to about 6 inches, and then kept the fog, and then brought tombstones in. That was new. A lot of new. Didn't touch the outside at all. I think they did last year or the year before, they incorporated the timed ticketing, but instead of time ticketing, my mom works as she's a witch, dressed up in the witch, and she has this little booth that Scott made, and she has keychains behind her, 1 through like 150. They get the ticket, they come to her, they get a keychain with a number on it. She writes it down on the clipboard, then they go sit down, and bonfires and food trucks, and there's a cornhole game and other different kinds of games they can play. And then on the digital board, there's the number, so they can see the number wherever they're at, which is kind of a neat feature. I kind of like time ticketing, but more physical. So you're
Mhm.
you're actually, but then you have to deal with the keychains and then get them back in case, if there's more than 150 groups, you got to make sure the keychains come back and make sure everybody's recorded. Mom marks their little number on their hand of how many people are in their group, so that one person has group of 4, group of 5 on their hand, so they keep everybody stays together.
Hmm.
Um, move the queue line. Like we used to have an partial indoor queue line. Now he has it where groups of he has stalls, almost kind of like a amusement park ride. So there's like maybe 6 stalls where he'll send 6 groups inside, so they're already lined up to get ready to go. And then the door person operates I guess takes the rope off and says, okay, next, next,
Oh,
next.
I was so hoping you were going to say a trap door. So they just
Oh,
press the
that'd be
button and
fun.
they group.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it's a concrete
darn.
floor, so yeah. Unless they built it up.
No.
I guess he's going to build a platform or something. So they get in a coffin and the coffin drops and rolls them into the first
Uh,
room. That'd be fun.
problem is your customers only come back once, right?
Yeah. Or you can set up 6 elevators all at the same time, all in the same area where
Yeah, that'd be a little tough.
and I know some haunts, one haunt does that where they have like 3 or 4 elevators. So they, have them all kind of going at the same time. And that's a big thing, man. I mean, like your parking, a lot of haunts, when they start up, they don't think about throughput, parking, signage,
Hmm.
the little things that kind of, we'll do that later. We'll get to that. And then first, second year, you're like, oh shit, maybe we need to really figure out signage and parking.
Scalability is really tough. We used to haul
Yes.
everybody out on 2 wagons. Pretty soon we realized we got like 200 people waiting to go out on the wagon,
Yeah.
and it's going to take them an hour. So we're going to walk around a corn maze. The corn maze is only 200 yards away. So we walked them out through the bush, kind of a work back trail or whatever, and they worked just fine. And we stopped running the wagons. The wagon drivers were scared they're going to run over kids anyway, because nobody controls their kids, and it goes by the parking lot. And it was a great thing to get rid of that. We still have it during the day for the kids. Kids like going on a hayride, tractor rides, but
But by the time it gets busy at night, you're not doing that anymore.
no, we just couldn't keep up. Once we hit 500 or 600 at night, you're only hauling
Yeah.
out 20 people at a time. It takes about 10, 15 minutes to load them up, drop them off, then load up the next crew and come back and forth. Even in high gear, it was way longer. The drive out is quite long. It's like 500-600 yards to drive out, but they could walk out 200. You're going to walk around a corn maze for an hour or two. The 200-meter walk is nothing. And once we realized that, well, then we added in the barn, because that's another walk another direction.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's walking anyway. They love getting their steps. Everybody's got their step meters on. I got 25,000 steps on. They're all happy to walk a lot.
Yeah, I do not do enough of that during the day.
How much of stuff do you change every year? Like you're replanting the corn, you're changing that maize every year, but do you change any of the other stuff, like the barn? Do you change it up, or is it pretty much the same scare, just a different
We
actor?
kind of concentrate on one thing or another. Like this year, we fixed up the barn with a lot more lights, fog machines. There's a few other, some noisemaker things in there. So that got a revamp this year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Next year, I want to do the haunted house and kind of like make a second level where the actors can go up and scare from above down. We have a generator out there already, and I got an air blast cannon, but I've never hooked it up. So I want to maybe pick up another air blast cannon and start blasting people while they're walking through the haunted house. So we're going to tweak it a bit. And then we're going to add in that phantom light.
Right.
So let's see.
The
See
sound,
if
the
you
sound
guys can see
blasters,
this.
sound blasters get me all the time.
Can you guys see that?
That's the finger jar.
Yeah, that's the finger jar.
Nice.
So yeah,
And those are fake
See.
fingers, right?
well, you guess.
just, just checking. I don't know. I guess we'll never know. The secret remains.
That's the people that can't be real. No, that can't be real. No.
Yeah.
It's always a
It's
secret.
not even right, man. It's not even right.
Daryl, did you guys have Pumpkins After Dark in Edmonton? Is a competition to you guys?
We sort of got 2 different competitions. We've got the Dark at Fort Edmonton Park, and Pumpkins After Dark, which is something totally different. But based on customer reviews, neither one of them were near as good as us. So,
That's good.
but that's Pumpkin After Dark is fairly expensive, and the majority of the pumpkins aren't real. So people were upset that they're
Yeah, well, I
plastic
don't know. It was the
pumpkins.
first year ever in Saskatoon, and they were talking about 10,000 carved pumpkins. Well, there's maybe 10,000 pumpkins there, but they sure weren't carved. It was kind of cool, but not scary.
Yeah, yeah,
We went on opening night to see what it was like, just to see what the new competition might be, and definitely not competing with the scary part.
yeah, yeah. A totally different, a different
What's
feel.
the dark at Fort Edmonton?
Um,
It's a scare as
it,
well.
yeah, it is scarier. If you've ever been to any historic park, there's a bunch of historic buildings. Well, they do less stuff in the buildings, in my understanding, and more stuff in the open areas. But they had sort of 3 or 4 different scenarios in different areas. I haven't gone there since they've been to the dark, and since I've been working at Edmonton. I used to be an actor when Fort Edmonton had they would call it their spooktacular, and actually there's a couple of actors that have worked Fort Edmonton that used to do that, but that's where I broke my chops in the Halloween acting side of things. But I haven't been there since it's been dark. One of our management team did his first year at dark, and then came aboard with us and worked with us for the past 4 or 5 years, I think. But I haven't been there myself, so I just have to go on the reviews of other people.
I was
Speaking
like
of-
trying to check out what our competition. It's not real competition, but it's like different entertainment things. People
Yeah.
will ask me, "Is it worthwhile going or not?" Okay, hey, it depends what you're doing. Some people, the pumpkins after dark, yeah, that has a fit. If you don't like scary stuff, it's not scary.
And it's great for the kids to go see all of these lit pumpkins, if that's your thing. It's kind of like some of the Hello or the Christmas light shows and things. They're okay to see once in a while. It makes the kids really wide-eyed and stuff, but not my thing. If I'm going with the kids, grandkids, yes, I'm all fine for that. But just going to see some of those and paying the $20 or $30 to see a bunch of pumpkins, no, not my
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Speaking of-
it was funny our first year we ran for 3 months, and we realized everybody wanted to come out for the 2 scary nights we did.
Yeah.
That was our busiest nights. So it's like, why are we running all this other time? And so we've concentrated into those things, and
6
I
nights
said,
now.
it's people want to come to get scared.
Mhm.
So I was like,
It's amazing how many people are like that. Then again, one of the things that we noticed with serving the alcohol is sometimes when people get scared, they get fighty, and if they're or they turn into jerks, right? So definitely caution you with that. Grab a couple of extra people as bouncers if you start serving alcohol, because just until you know how things work.
And train your queue line actors to recognize things.
Yeah.
we don't have a queue line.
No queue line.
It just, well, you might line up for 5 minutes. So there's
Yeah.
a big group.
Do you
in
have
front of
any
you.
roaming actors that roam around?
No. Well, they all kind of roam. They just not in with the regular crowd.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's what I mean. Like
So
out
in the main staging area, because you don't pay to get in there, well, there's no scary
Nothing.
stuff.
Yeah.
So the scary stuff's past those scary points. So that's kind of how we deal with that anyway. But everybody keeps talking about, they're sneaking it in anyway.
Yeah, if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it, right?
And we've been pretty straightforward with people. It's like, you hit one of my actors, we're following the police. It's called assault and battery. And it got really bad a couple of years ago that people wanted to hit our actors. But now we put in cameras everywhere. We've actually put in extra lights where everybody at the choke point at the registration. So we have color pictures of everybody because the cameras can see in color when the lights are really bright. So we have a yard light right above the registration booth. So everybody coming in, we've got good color pictures of them. That was the first thing we had a problem. Shit, they're all black and white, and we can't tell anybody apart really good.
Yeah.
And the color is like, well, we just need more lights. So I bought a yard light and put it up right above over top and turned all those cameras. I got a whole set of 8 cameras on the registration booth, and now they're all in color. Even though it was
Right
fairly
on.
lit, it wasn't lit enough that that black
Yeah.
and white is a big problem.
Yeah.
Color's much better.
Yeah. Well, like I say, working in the security room and seeing all those cameras, and everything is just black and white. even doesn't matter what color they're wearing. And it's tough to tell people apart because I have gone out and looked at the people as I see them coming towards the exit. I go out and it's like, oh, it's not the colors that I thought you were wearing.
Yeah, that was the first thing was, oh, we got all these cameras. And yeah, color's much better. So put in more lights and man, that really helped a lot.
George,
You
what's
don't
up with our
nearly have-
cats?
What's that?
So what's up with our cats?
Oh, the cat. He's a rescue cat of mine. Yeah, I found him waiting to die, and oh, you got a good one too. Yeah, he was waiting to die. He's white, but he was stained orange from all the other tomcats peeing on him.
Oh,
And he was just curled up underneath the heat lamp and skinny as hell. And he was a friendly cat. I thought he just disappeared. Tomcats disappear on the farm.
yeah.
2 or 3 months, and I guess he didn't disappear. He was just getting beat up. So I brought him in the house, bathed him, took 3 baths to get him white. And the smell went away in the first bath. And he is my cat. So my wife was very jealous of him. He picks me, but he'll put up with
Yeah.
her. But I am his rescuer.
Right. Yeah, we've
So
had
this is Rocky.
Rocky?
He likes getting in on the Zoom calls all the time.
yeah.
He's quite famous.
Well, doesn't like to look at the camera though. He's
No.
half
Well,
camera shy,
Bashful.
but yeah, funny.
Well, I just wanted to catch up. I know I didn't figure a lot of people would show up because they have probably Christmas stuff going on. So, but George, thank you for participating tonight. And
Letting us know about where can people find your haunt? Are you on social media at all?
Oh yeah. Facebook's our biggest promoter. We've got a website, hauntedparadise.ca. Just give me a second here. Can't remember. Yeah, .ca. Hauntedparadise.ca or paintballpa.com are 2 websites anyway. Yeah, you can definitely look us up under Haunted Paradise on Facebook and stuff. We definitely use lots of Facebook, Google AdWords, those type of things. I run TV, radio, all that type of stuff just to get the news articles out. Philip Gagnon's media night thing, he definitely knows what he's talking about. I did that a few years ago, and we got front page articles in the paper, articles on online web news services, television interviews. I didn't have to spend a whole lot of money to get those. So I like trying to
good.
keep all those media sources, even though they're dying breeds, a lot of them, they still generate news stories, and those news stories stick around for years. This thing in Canada, though, about not being able to share news feeds on Facebook is really annoying.
No kidding. But
That's
that's where you
another-
point them back to your regular website, and
Yeah.
hopefully they can see that. Brian, can you tell us a little bit about your brother's haunt and where they can find people can find that online?
yes, it's Mexico, Missouri, deadfactory.com. This was their 10th year. So I did 7 years and he's been doing it 3 years. And that's constantly changing. So you think you saw it last year, it's going to be different this year. So they keep on going.
Yeah.
And I was talking about competition. One of our, well, it's always good competition. I think one person sees a haunt, they're going to go drive to another haunt, check that haunt out. But our nearest competition was closed this year because they had some kind of safety issue. So I think they were getting a lot of overflow from Columbia, Missouri, which is Fairfest, and not open this year. So they're one of the longest, probably 20-year plus haunts. So I think there was a lot of people that came from Columbia to Mexico that hadn't been before. So a lot of people, it was a chance to see a new haunt, a lot of good reviews on it. They'll be back next year type of thing. So we've had people come from all over, but it's nice. People don't usually switch things up like, oh, we'll just go to the Fear Fest because we're here in Columbia. And so it's nice to see other families and college students that came and
Different customer
checked
base.
it out. Like, oh, it's been here all this whole time, and we'll have to come back next year. So more word of mouth marketing, bring some more people with you next time. So it was, maybe I'll get to go scare act next year. It was fun. Where can they find your haunt, Daryl?
We are at deadmontonhouse.com. That's DEADMONTON house. This was our 11th year, and probably about the 7th year that we've been doing Scarlet Badges as awards. So
Yeah, because we started that
Happy
in
to be involved
2017.
yeah, happy to be involved in both of those things. So
Come see us at Trans World because we'll have free swag and maybe some prizes.
reminds me, we got to get some stuff ordered.
Yeah, we do because it's coming up.
Yeah,
February will be here before we know it.
Write it
no
down, Daryl.
kidding.
I've been busily scribbling notes here. S'mores is on the list.
There we go.
Good to hear. You are going to Transworld as well. You said you got about 3 or 4 other members of your team coming with you.
Yeah, we have a tendency to just drive down 24 hours.
Take shifts and
Yep.
everybody drives.
Listener says if we're gonna fly, it's gonna waste a day anyway. And then we drive, we have a car there.
Bring
Yeah.
stuff back with you. And
The
Well,
big gun
wishing you the
convention-
best safe journey, and I hope to see you at our booth 1443.
yeah, because we know how crazy Transworld gets. So it's
Daryl, what's the
Yeah.
company name again?
Scarab Badges.
Scare
For our
badges?
company, yes, Scarrett badges.
Scarlet, yes.
Yep, we
That's
just
what I-
we sell buttons and pins for scare actors, merit badges, awards. A lot of people give them out at their parties at the end of the year. Some people give them out weekly, nightly prizes. A little incentive to keep them going and it
Yeah,
helps.
no, I started with Scython this year. And
Yes.
It's got a,
Oh,
a
yeah,
Scarlet
for-
thing in there, and I
Yes, they're one
don't
of
think
our
I used
partners.
even half of it, but next year it's gonna get used a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had them on for a webinar as well. So it's a good thing
Yeah,
they got
that's-
going on over there.
One of the things why I bought it, so was that little webinar that you guys put on. It was good.
Yeah, thank you.
It definitely helped. So any of those things that people are like, that's a lot of money. It's like, it's not that much money if it saves me a lot of time and effort.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is you got to think, is it time is money, sanity is money. If it
Mhm.
saves your sanity, if it, our thought is with Scarlet badges is being an actor ourselves, coming from that point of view, and then from the management point of view. Sometimes it's just those little things that let the actors know that they're respected and loved and that they're doing a good job, but at the same point it's also they go out wearing our badges, for your haunt, and then they find their friends, and then that referral system works because they know these other people, because they're asking them, their friends are asking them, what's that badge you have on, like what does that mean, right? And you end up getting actors that stick around and bring their friends, refer those friends, and those friends are the ones, as you mentioned, that are being referred, so their friends know that they're capable of doing this job, and they can ask them all the questions, and you don't lose all of your actors that first night or first weekend.
It definitely helped us. And when we started using them in 2017, 2018, that the gold badge really helped keep our attendance to, where everybody wanted to show up and get that gold badge. So
yeah, exactly. And I have some coming in the mail, right?
yes, that Canada postal strike going on up there.
They went back to work this morning.
Did they?
were
Okay.
legislated back to work. They're not happy about it. I'm not, in a way, I kind of favor them because it's a tough job. You
Right.
know what the postal job is like, right?
We're going through a contract negotiation right now.
Well,
And I just
hopefully
said-
you
I
don't
just-
go on strike.
Yeah, I just sent my ballot off this morning. So, post office in the United States, we can't strike. We're we're federally managed, but we are, as far as the revenue and stuff goes, we don't get any money from the government. So we still making our, we get shipping and services. That's how we make our money, but we don't get any money from the government. I think we got a bailout because we were pre-funding health retirement savings or something in the billions, and apparently somehow they took that off the books, but we're still trying to figure things out with our new postmaster general that we got. So we'll see what happens.
And do you get a new postmaster general when the new president starts in January?
I don't know how that works. It is voted. There's a bipartisan board of people that control the postmaster general and funding and yada yada. So I don't know how that all works, but just growing pains. That's what I call them right now. Growing pains.
Understandable. Well, I hope everything works out on your end. I hope it works out better for the people that are delivering things up here. So, but in the meantime, we'll prepare and make our way down to Transworld, and I hope to see you and all of the other listeners that might be listening to this over the holiday season. Having a wonderful and safe holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year. Is it Kwanzaa? Happy Kwanzaa. I don't don't know all of the celebrations that everybody celebrates. So I hope everybody has a good time, and I hope that we can see all of you guys down at Trans World at the end of February.
Yes, it's one of our favorite times of year.
So much fun.
It is.
Sleep for a week afterwards because it's tiring.
Be good to see you.
It's busy.
Be good to see you again.
Yeah.
In person.
Not just on video.
And put an air tag in your luggage again.
Yes. Hopefully it makes it there this time.
Right.
That's all I've got for this evening. It's been 90 minutes on here with you guys, so I think it's about time that we call it an evening. And again, hope everybody has a great Christmas and a safe and happy New Year.
You as well, Daryl. Merry Christmas.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
See you, Trans World.
See you at Trans World.
This podcast episode sponsored by Scarett Badges. Get your Scarett Badges at scarebadges.com. Also sponsored by Haunter's Toolbox. Take your haunt to the next level at haunterstoolbox.com. Thank you for listening to Haunt Topic Radio. Please leave a comment wherever you found this podcast. Each comment you leave will help spread the word to other haunters around the world. See you next time.